Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Sir Worldwide. I like being your minister of information to a degree. I like that. But I'm going to tell you something that you need to know, because we need to get back into history, to our history. The millenniums and young people, they don't know history, right? So we're going to keep bringing stories, some good, and there's a whole lot of bad ones, because we came out of slavery. Anyway, I'm going to tell you something that happened in 1921. There was a massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this was May 31, 1921. And America ignored this for decades, right? But now, since we talk about history, let's bring it to the forefront so people know, especially young people, know the history of what happened here, so we can make this a better country. Once you get educated, then you understand where we got to go. The death toll during that massacre in 1921, 12-hour rampage, up to 250 people were killed, were murdered, actually. And 1,000 businesses and homes were burned. It all started when a white woman said that a teenager assaulted her, which turned out to be a falsehood, right? So there were a lot of black military guys who were armed, and they came and rescued this young man so they wouldn't get hung. But then the mobs came and started shooting, killing black people. So we need to get into that and see what happened in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, we got some historians here that really know their homework. They're going to talk a little bit more about black history.
Hi, and welcome to Sir Worldwide. I'm Don.
And I'm Carrie. And okay, well, I was going to give you the opportunity to start off.
Oh, well, ladies first.
Okay, well, on our way to talk about this particular segment, we were talking about what's been going on historically, why black people are having a hard time getting together, as well as why we don't have enough information so that we can move forward and make a lot of progress. And we all agree that it has a lot to do with history. For example, a lot of people don't know that there's a history. There's a queen called Queen Nzinga of Angola. She reigned for 40 years, and what stands out about her is that during the time that she was reigning in the 1500s, the tribes that she brought together, because she had to bring the tribes together. The tribes were probably warring with each other, but when the Portuguese came and started snatching black people up for the slave trade, she saw it and she brought the tribes together so that they can not be captured by the Portuguese. Yeah. So her history is very, very powerful, and there's a lot of people who did the best that they could to prevent the slave trade. But here we are today, dealing with the effects of American chattel slavery. It's not like any other type of slavery.
No,
it was very brutal, and it was just mean-spirited, period.
Yeah,
and we're all just basically trying to overcome post-traumatic slave syndrome. You've heard that term?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we're trying to understand why, when they say quote unquote we were free, but we were under chattel slavery, that meant we were property, and we didn't have really have a say so in how laws were written. It was just like you're a piece of property, and if you don't like it, we're just gonna take you out back and beat you with a stick or a whip or something like that. So coming together, like you say, we have are being more tribal because we come from different tribes, and then we set up on different sides of town. You got the east side, you got the west side, you got the south side and the north side, and nobody's not on the same page. We all do the same thing, but we're not on the same page. We're just
the different churches, the different religions, and black people are a part of all of them. Different belief systems, different philosophies, but whatever Queen Nzinga did to bring the tribes together, that is something to be studied.
Yeah.
Because whatever made her successful, all we have to do is duplicate it. Whenever somebody is successful, all you have to do is duplicate what they did, and many times you'll get the same results.
Yeah, definitely.
So, those are some solutions and everything to figure out how to be less tribal, because the police officers and certain groups of Europeans are lynching us.
Right.
They're still putting their knee on people's neck. No matter how many protests we have done in the last week or month, they're still doing the same thing. And they seem to be like up in the ante saying, what you gonna do about it?
Right,
What,
exactly.
What?
Well, it sounds like somebody wants to start a race war. And,
Right.
We can't bite on that. And,
No, we're not going to.
And, we have to, like I say, when you were talking about Queen Nzinga, she's Googleable.
Right.
So look her up and then study some of the things. There's another guy that does African history. That's Lewis Henry Gates Jr. And he has a lot of different things on African civilization and those stories. And you can go on to pbs.org and pull him up, and you'll be able to get some more information.
What's important too is that slave history is not our only history.
No.
We were absolutely the best of the best when they captured us. We were, even though we may have been tribal, we were very skilled, highly skilled people,
Exactly.
or else we couldn't have built this country.
Exactly.
We built all of this.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
they couldn't take people swinging from trees and to build this country.
Right.
It took mathematicians and scientists and people who knew engineering already in order to make this happen.
Yeah.
And if we didn't know it because of teachings, we had it genetically.
Right, exactly.
So our history is greater than this slave history. This is just a little phase that we're going through. And it looks like we're about ready to be done with it.
Right.
Because we're not completely sick and tired of being sick and tired, but let them keep doing what they're doing and we'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. And we have to get there and do what we do and do the right thing, as they say. And the other history that you're mentioning is that, being tribal means we have traditions and we have ways of living. And then when you were talking about and during the slavery kidnapping, they would specifically say, I want a guy that can grow weed. I want a guy. They got people that were in agriculture and they were into husbandry. A lot of different
all the trades,
blacksmithing and everything.
Yeah, we had to teach them certain things. We even had to teach them how to be civilized, how to dress.
Exactly. Well,
and we nursed them, you know. So we nursed them to strength and nursed them to health, and this is how they pay us back. But it's all good.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely come up, and I hope those that are listening to us as we speak to you right now, that you'll use some of this food for thought and start making self-improvements and doing the things that'll make it a better society. And, black people stop killing black people.
Yeah, that's a good start right there.
Yeah.
Just stop the black on black crime, and therefore other races of people wouldn't even consider it.
Right.
But as long as we're hurting each other, then they can justifiably in their own mind say, well, y'all kill each other for no reason. So, but the other thing too is I like to study things about mental health. Right. So there's a lot of articles on mental health on the internet. The internet is awesome. YouTube University and Google University. They're awesome. So I was reading an article, looks like somebody's dissertation, where they found that white people had more mental illnesses than black people.
Right.
They actually did. Yeah. And they suffer worse from their mental illness than we do. We're able to maneuver, even though we have a lot of discrimination, we're able to function better with our mental illnesses than they are. And that's some research that's already been done.
Yeah, it has. So
Yep. So I don't know. Mental illness is a very important topic for me because everything starts from the mind. Anything that you see came from somebody's imagination or from somebody's thinking. So if we want to leave the mind out of the equation, then we're missing a big part of effect. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess what I'm saying is mind and thinking is cause, and what you see is effect.
Right. Exactly.
So we have to, when people are being murdered like that, we have to wonder, what was they thinking? What was that person who's doing the murder? What were they thinking? And where did they get these thoughts from? Who taught them to think like that?
Right, exactly. The whole murderous mentality that they have, but they've been doing it for so long, they think it's just a natural part of their character. So we have to, keep those things in mind, and we have to look forward toward the future and live in peace, live in harmony.
Yep. So not only do black lives matter, but black minds matter also. So keep your mind strong, put in good information, and seek truth, and you'll find it. Thank you for listening and watching.
Now see, that's a hard act for me to follow. These guys, they hit grand slams, all right? I want to tell you about the last post that we did with Carrie and Tiffany. Tiffany told me that she didn't talk about her brother. Kevin Penn is his name, from Alabama. He's a business owner, right? So he got robbed at gunpoint. They came to his establishment and robbed him. So he called the police. And he told the police, I'm a veteran and I do have a weapon. The police jumped on him, beat him to a pulp, and broke his jaw. This is in Alabama where this happened. Just recently. I mean, look, it's sad things are going on. And then there's an actor named Jay Farrell. You guys know Jay Farrell from Saturday Night. He was on The Talk. He talked about how he was jogging while black here in LA. And all of a sudden, 4 police, LAPD, jumped on him and started beating him. They had their knee on his neck again, right? And then while they're beating him, got the knee on his neck, he thought he was gonna die. One of the officers got a call on his system that they had apprehended the person they were looking for. They told him, you just fit the description of somebody that we thought you were the guy. Come on, all this choking and hanging. First of all, black people don't hang themselves. Get that straight. Now we have 4 black men, young black men, that were hung in the month of June in America. And they said it was suicide, right? Get a grip. We don't kill ourselves like that. Anyway, we're trying to bring the information to you concerning history. And Google some of this history. We're going to talk about Marcus Garvey pretty soon. We need to know what Marcus Garvey had to say. I'm Sir Worldwide. Please subscribe to this channel. We're going to keep it clean. I'm going to bring back some. I'm going to bring the comedians on. They coming soon. Don't worry. They lined up. Because the comedy is what's going on anyway. Aloha.